Afternoon folks, welcome back to Delboy's Garage. Now, time for another little bit of modification. Made the air filter cover. Side mount so far has been a success. Looking nice and tough, no crackage, paint's holding up, filler's all fine. Good job that. Now something else that I've been thinking of, which is kind of probably need to get a bit further away. This kind of high at the front, leaning forward, sort of aggressive look, low at the back. That's kind of a cool look which I like. And there's a gap down here. Now this is a little bag thing which is a bit lame, to be honest, but I put it there for a reason. It's kind of a bit of experimentation to just see what it's like to have something in that space. And sort of sitting back, I don't know, kind of looks quite cool, fills in the gap, gives more of a kind of wedged look, goes with the front bars, so the front's kind of big and tall, back's tapered right down, adds to that aggressive front heavy look. But that bag, that ain't going to do it, it's a bit lame. So that's just an experiment, it's coming off. And what I thought was one of these. Now this is your old Harley Davidson toys catalogue. You go out and buy all your stick-on custom parts. When these parts are mass produced, the last thing they are is custom. These guys need to look up the word custom and learn the definition of it. These things are mass produced in moulds, stug, 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 one after another. So there's nothing custom about that at all. It's accessories. And I kind of thought, well, I'll treat myself maybe, I don't often buy anything like this, me, I like to make it myself if I can. And I always think these bits are a bit lame. And that's cool, it's not a bad shape, bit kind of pointy, bit kind of, I don't know, Dickie Davis, but these ones are better, but they're for diners. And that one's really cool, that's quite, I like that, that kind of goes all the way underneath the bike. But again, it's for a big twin. So that's all there is for the Sportster, is that one. And it's a bit daft. The price on that, £110, and that's if you have it just in primed and paint it yourself. If you have it in vivid black, it goes up to 180 quid, and it's a piece of ABS plastic that you just clip on, which is again just daft. So how hard can it be? A little kind of chin spoiler. I kind of love the words they use, chin spoiler. So something to spoil your chin. I think belly pan is a proper term for it. I just think a little metal belly pan. Don't know how I'm going to make it. It's going to naturally start with a bit of cardboard, scissors, bit of a template, and if I can make it work with cardboard and tape, then I can make a little thing in steel. And in steel, it's going to be a lot better than that daft thing, and it'll look better on the bike. It'll go with the other little bits of steel stuff I've made. So let's have a little play. I'm going to take that off because that's just there to make a space filled in. And then see if I can get some fasteners, because here there's kind of a bar spread that goes across, and it's got two threaded nuts in the back, so there's a good point of fastening there to make something in. So it's time for some cardboard, find some fasteners and the scissors and the pencil and the blue Peterage, and see if I can make something that will work. First of all, get this off. Okay, let's get cracking, see what we can come up with. Okay, got the bag off now. Better for it already, and little stroke of luck. These bolts, these were from the side struts on my old Fat Boy. I put a backrest on, take wife out on the back, and had to replace these with longer ones. So these were the originals. I just kind of kept them, the old philosophy, never throw your bolts and nuts away. And these, fortunately, fit. They're 3/8 AF bolt, and they fit beautifully into there. And they bolt in nice and tight, and that is a serious fixing. You can hang the bike up on that. So, to be honest, that is a real stroke of luck. And the nice thing is that they're Torx, which means I can put them in a small hole. I can sort of kind of French them if I'm kind of can work out a way to do it. And those fixings will be hidden inside, which is great. So the first thing to do is just to kind of get the shape, this kind of spoiler shape that comes forward and up and gives that sort of bib shape, just brings in a little bit of that space there filled. So got some time-honoured method. Get the old cardboard and just start making some measurements. You're just kind of remembering back to your school days now. Just measure the distance along the bottom, sort of along the bottom of the frame, and how far out into sort of open air I want to bring this, and then how far up the frame it's going to go. So that sort of just gives you right angles, and then it's just a case of now working out the arc that that's going to follow, sort of what angle. And I'm trying to think that as the wheel comes here, I want to follow the wheel line, which will obviously just look correct. And this side is much easier because you just got to follow the frame, and that's going to be easy. I'm just going to put another piece of card on the frame and just draw against it. That's going to give me that profile, and then that will make one of the sides. I can then turn that over and make the other side on there. So I've got my two sides, then it's the bib panel in the front, and then it's just a case of trimming it so it's shaped and it doesn't just look like a big dollop stuck out the front. So right, got to get that angle first, and then kind of work out the arc for this that looks best, trim it up, you know, perhaps use the where is it, the old compass, bring back your maths that you learned at school, and see if I can make a half decent template. Let's crack on with that. Alright, that's the first one pretty much done. As you can see, with just sort of trimming and constantly snipping back, that's pretty much the side of the first piece of template. It follows the line of the frame there pretty correctly, and also it follows that line of the tyre. So the two of them, it'll sit sort of nestled just outside the frame rail, so it's just sort of outside the frame and tucked in. That's as high as I want to go, can't go over that, obviously that's cooling fins, and it just sits neatly in line with the two bolt holes. So that's one side. I've just got to copy that, so I've got the other side, and then I've got the two sides ready. Then I've just got to make the base, which won't be difficult at all, and then work out some way of actually making a front that's got holes in so I can bolt. So that's going to be a little bit of fun. Alright, let's get the second one of those cut and get the base one. So there we go, that's the first kind of look that it's going to give, first inkling of what it might look like. We can then adjust accordingly. They're a draw round and copy out of each other, so they're identical. The bottom line follows the frame lines, and coming up here, looking over the top, they follow symmetrically. They follow either side of the frame. They're symmetrical, so one's not further out from the other, so they're either side of the wheel correctly. So that's kind of got it straight, and I want a base to it. I want it to be a box, not sort of open underneath or anything, because it's just going to get a load of crud up underneath and keep it there. You can't wash it off. So I need to make a base now, and the easiest way just to measure literally across underneath them. So approximately, I'll get it exact, so it looks about 6 inches across roughly. So it's just going to be from there to there, 6 inches. That's just a square. Then I can take that square into one piece and give it some strength. I sort of considered whether or not to bring these in a bit. Maybe it might happen, kind of give it a little bit of feel. Actually, that's quite a trick, quite like that. But that will bring those base, it will bring the levels up, because as that goes in, it goes upwards as well. So I would have had to cut that further down, which is not a problem. I can just cut that a bit further. But that's quite a trick, quite prefer that actually. Although that looks sort of beefier at the front. Anyway, let's get the base cut out, see what it looks like. And it looks like that. And that's kind of coming on now, starting to take shape. And just kind of standing up here, looking at the bike with it on, it has that effect, which is what I wanted to fill in that space. It's quite a chunky looking thing in there. I do like that. I just considered dragging it in, but it didn't look right. Looked a bit kind of mincy, I don't know, just a bit lame and invisible. If you're going to do it, you might as well make a big old statement. And kind of on this, I'm thinking it might look nice because I only put that little bit there across as a brace just to hold it in place. Just kind of doing a gauze, because I cut out with a gauze stuck inside, although it will get mullered by all the weather. But then so will any finish whatsoever. If I paint that, it's just going to get ripped to bits. So future thinking, but cardboard templatage this is. It's all about just making it up, mocking it up, see if I can make something that looks alright. I quite like that. It's got the look I'm thinking of. That looks so good that side with Tony Tiger showing. Yeah, I like that. Right, I'm going to make a front to it, kind of finish it so it's a finished part, and then see what it looks like on. And that's a finally mocked up piece then I can just pull it apart and then cut out the various parts and get the welder out. So let's see what that looks like once it's kind of finished in its shape. And it looks a bit like that. Here it is. I've put two little kind of stays inside which are going to be welded to the bottom down inside, and they'll bolt through there as a strength part. I've left this off for now, but that will get sheeted in with two holes cut to get to that. Maybe I'll French some tubing in, see how I get on with that. But technically, just for now, just looking at the lines, it follows the line of the frame pretty perfect, and that's what I want. I don't want that lifted up or tilted down. It's got to follow so it's correct, and then follow this line. It is a little bit steeper than the tyre, so don't know, it just looks right like that, fills the gap, just looks in proportion, quite like that. So what I'm going to do now is take it off, take it to bits, and start cutting out the various pieces to make the sheet metal up, and then I can get that cut together and start cracking on from there. So that's a mock-up of roughly what I've got in mind. This is going to be probably a few episodes, obviously, so let's see how it goes from there. Let's get it pulled apart. And that's it. The card, just pulled it to bits really. Where I've measured and stuck bits, it's kind of got a bit cockeyed, so I've not used that as the templates. That's the measuring points, and this referred to using a straight edge, sort of 90 degree. If you ever want a 90 degree set square, you know it's on your saw. So I've used the straight edge on the back of that, and the blade, and I've cut accurate templates out. That's the base, and then the other one is the front edge, as it were. And if you ever want to measure if these are square and not kind of sort of skew width, easiest way is to measure them that way and that way, and they've got to be the same, and they are. So they're perfectly 90 degree angles, and it's important really because the whole thing's going to sit cockeyed if any of these are out of line. These are just two bits which are going to be strapping. They're going to be kind of like that, inside upwards, bolted on, so that's going to be the mainstay to hold the weight from the inside. I may make those with something a bit thicker than the 16 gauge that I normally use. There's the sides, they're all important, give that lovely curvature, and they're now accurate curves. They're correct curves. I've sort of measured them. They've got a constant curve, and they're sort of nice and flat along the bottom, properly cut. So they'll be my templates. And I just realised that I've run out of steel, which is irritating. That is pretty much all I've got left from various jobs that I've been doing over and over, so I've got to get some steel, which will be just a day or so. But that's my templates. That's the bulk of the job done. That's the thinking done. I'm just going to get some tubing as well, because I think what I will do is drill in the front and kind of French the bolts in so that they're sort of sitting down a recess. Perhaps put a rubber cap over them to stop all the cat getting in. But that's that, really. That's it for tonight. This is going to be a multi-parter, so sort of, I don't know, Project Burly Pan, call it what you like. But that's part one. So thanks for watching. That's everything so far. That's all the parts cut. I've just got to cut that out with the old jigsaw out of steel when I get some shortly, and then I'll be able to start making up the basics, tacking it together, and that'll start to get a little bit more interesting. Okay, thanks for tuning in and watching Delboy's Garage. As ever, appreciate your support. I'll see you next time.